promote him. Mr. Whitebridge. Hey, Simon, you got on mute and you're in. Bottom left corner is a mute button.
Right. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Tone, how's it going?
Hey, man, how are you?
Oh, man, what a crazy turn of events we've seen. I didn't see this one coming.
I know. I'm gonna cut the lie. I'm gonna cut the. So for the person that asked me about the Bcash shard on BitMax, I'm gonna get to it in a minute. But hey, man, nice man, freshly shaved head look. I'll get there soon. I'm still clinging to this.
It's your signature, Tone.
Yeah. How are you, man?
Yeah, no, really good. I've just been viewing the events over the last week, really. It's really amazing to see. So it seems like Bitmain sold all their equipment to Craig Wright and CoinGeek, and CoinGeek and Craig Wright are using it to attack the network that Bitmain created. Yeah, fascinating. I never saw this one coming.
I mean, I didn't see it coming the way it's coming, but I always called, I'm out of respect, because I did send this link to a couple of people on the Bitcoin Cash side. So I'm going to try and refrain from calling it Bcash on this time around, because I kind of want those people to come and join. But so the BCH, I mean, I've been calling it a centralized, not censorship resistant, not unconfiscatable, an insecure chain. So I'm not surprised that something like this is happening. I'm a little surprised by the players involved and how it's happening, but the end result is not surprising at all.
Sure, yeah. I mean, well, I think that has been people have been saying, well, the Bitcoin Cash people have always said that it's cheaper and faster, and that's what's important. And the Bitcoin camp have always been saying that censorship resistance, hash power, decentralization are important. They've fed that back with saying that, well, the developers have all been co-opted and centralized within Blockstream. But the important part of the Bitcoin network that we saw with the Bitcoin hard fork that led to Bitcoin Cash is that the developers, the users, the miners, the media, the businesses that try to co-op it with SegWit2x all have to fight with each other to try and actually gain control. Whereas what we're seeing now is that Bitcoin Cash have tried to emphasize miner control. And now they're putting that to the test. But at the same time, these are the same people that control the media, that control are funding a lot of the businesses that are pushing it. And we're seeing that Bitcoin has its very unique position in the fact that no one knows who created it, that all of the forces are fighting against each other. And in the end, reaching consensus is very hard, which is the thing that gives its value and its best shot at actually becoming hard money in the first place. And so what we're seeing right now really is a demonstration of the importance of that and the irony of the situation in that, if you were selling your Bitcoin Cash over the last 2 years, you were probably selling them to Bitmain. Bitmain is the Satoshi Nakamoto of Bitcoin Cash. But Bitmain is a private company that's about to go public. They had to transparently disclose their positions. And they can't really do what they could have done before it was a public company in order to, really push their vision and mission. But Bitmain owns all the Bitcoin Cash. But the situation I didn't see coming was that Craig Wright and CoinGeek would buy all of Bitmain's equipment and use it against them. And because Bitmain, the timing of them going public coincides with this contentious hard fork, we're seeing a really interesting situation of the importance of the hash power that Bitcoin has, that many people see as wasteful and harmful, but we're seeing why that is one of the main things that gives us its value. So it's just such an interesting thing to see play out. And although everything's down, everything's crashing, I think that Bitcoin becomes the big winner out of this situation. Although all the infighting is making the banks the winners of this situation, because most people on the outside are just seeing this shit so-called crypto. But
based on the price crash of Bitcoin, looks like nobody's the winner of this situation, right?
Yeah, well, to me, I still see that as a temporary measure. You know, you're short on you, Tone. You placed a short trade. Everyone was taking the piss out of you for that one.
Yeah. Well, it's you don't know what happened. Probably you're busy with stuff. Yeah. So my short trade was forced. I wasn't liquidated based on my stop loss, but I was forced liquidated when my account got shut down.
Ouch. What account was that?
I'd rather not say, but everybody else knows. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Let me not get myself nor the exchange in more trouble than I already have.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. But yeah, how long have we got till the fork? I've got to jump on another AMA session in about 20 minutes.
4 hours to go, man. Because the thing is, I'm in Sydney. So if I didn't start streaming at 11 p.m., I might have fallen asleep, and then I sleep through it or something. So I decided to go live. Hey, so I have a question for you. Did you watch my interview with Craig Wright?
Yeah, of course I did. That was a historical interview. Well done on scoring that one.
My question to you is, he made it unreasonably clear that Bitcoin SV is going to be, well, he didn't like the word centralized, decentralized. So I switched it to trustless. He's basically admitting that the future of BCH is a bank coin where, 3 or 4 miners control transactions. And if they choose to, they can easily censor a transaction if it's for illicit activity. Like, he's against the Bitcoin being used for, questionable things. And, the price of BCH, even with the fact that he has all the hash rate, seems to be holding pretty steady, considering the fact that he's openly saying that he's going to win, and it looks like he's going to win. And he wants BCH to just be, I want to say a censorable coin.
Yeah, well, he's openly said on Twitter that he believes that we need to. Well, Bitcoin ABC, according to Craig Wright, is a deviation from Satoshi's vision. Craig Wright says that he is Satoshi, as he sent in Roger's email. And as he said,
we all know he's not.
We don't know he's not. It's very clear that he was.
We all know he's not.
It was very clear that he was around during the time, and what capacity he was involved with, nobody really knows. But I think it's pretty clear that he was around. He says that any deviation from Satoshi's vision will be defended, and that Bitcoin SV is the true original version of Bitcoin. And anything that changes the nature of it is an attack on Bitcoin. And that includes, according to him, BTC and BCH. So what's interesting is that the rhetoric that everybody's been using in order to promote Bitcoin Cash is now the rhetoric being used against Bitcoin ABC, and right. Most people are on the side of Bitcoin ABC. So that is the Bitcoin Cash people, apart from with the exception of the all-important miners that control about 80% of the hash power, it would seem. And that's just not hash power that's pulled together from selling cloud mining contracts. That's hash power where billionaires are running their own farms and they're not public companies, and they can do whatever they want with it. So whereas Bitmain can't do whatever they want with it, and anyone that's selling cloud mining contracts and pools can't do what they want with that. So it's clear to us that Bitcoin Cash has two outcomes for me. I never like to forecast these things because Bitcoin and the crypto market never ceases to surprise me again and again and again. But it seems like if Bitmain wins, then a public company called Bitmain on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange becomes the Federal Reserve of Bitcoin Cash, because they own the majority of it. They are the Satoshi Nakamoto. They've invested in all the Bitcoin Cash businesses. They've aligned themselves with the media. They control, a massive amount of the mining, with the exception of the other side. But if they win this battle, then Bitmain becomes the Federal Reserve or the PayPal of Bitcoin Cash. If they lose, then Craig Wright, with an affiliation with CoinGeek, control all the hash power, control the whole network. And then the only reaction that the other side have is that they could change proof of work, and then they have no claim over the Bitcoin name if it's a completely different proof of work. And so either way, this is really, really interesting on what people are actually going to do here, and just showing, and then I guess if Bitcoin Cash does win, then you just got to wait for the fight between Calvin and Craig Wright to determine who the almighty king of Bitcoin Cash is.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. If Bitcoin SV wins, and it looks like they're going to, it's only a matter of time before Calvin and Craig Wright go at it against each other, which is why my graphic is so perfect for this podcast. But yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned proof of work. So I'm hearing that a lot. Bitcoin ABC can just change proof of work. Well, it's not that easy, right? Because if they just change proof of work, then all of the ASICs that are currently mining it become useless, right? So when you change proof of work, what is going to be mining if you're not prepared to what the new proof of work is going to be?
Well, if you've been following the Twitter, the lead developer of Bitcoin ABC said that we need to prepare for a change of proof of work.
Amr Sachet or Data Linux? Which one is it?
I don't mean to be offensive, but I never remember the French name. The first one.
Sachet.
Yeah. He said that a proof of work needs to be prepared for. Proof of work change needs to be prepared for. I don't think it's that easy. I think he tweeted 4 days ago, so preparing for this in 4 days is not exactly, Bitcoin standard of quality assurance QA testing.
You know what? It's amazing how no one was prepared for this. No one on their side. I mean, we don't care. We're Bitcoiners, right? I mean, we couldn't care less, right? But nobody was prepared for this. And this is why I kind of kept tweeting at Craig Wright. It actually didn't take that long for me to get him on an interview, because it didn't take me very long to realize that he has a lot of hash power. Once I started looking at it, and I said, oh my God, how do the people that pay attention to BCH not know what's going on in their hash power world? And I got him on my show, and it kind of all hell broke loose. Because I want people to be prepared, right? This was going to happen regardless of whether I did an interview with him or not, because he had the hash power. So a proof of work change is interesting, because this is what happens when your entire coin is less than 10% of hashing power of Bitcoin, because you have nothing to fall back to. Like in Bitcoin, there didn't need to be a proof of work change, because there is no way someone was going to have 75% of the hashing power of Bitcoin in order to maintain legitimacy of their side, and at the same time render the other side useless. You need 75.1% of that, 75.2% of the hashing power to make that happen, right? Because then you're keeping 51% on one side and then 25.5%, 25.1 versus 25% on the side that remains. So you can render the other side useless. They can also just merge mine the other chain and just merge mine empty blocks on them. So they can probably destroy the other chain with like 65%. They don't even need 75% plus. And so the other option is for them, like, see, they can't even use a user-activated soft fork because the rules of mining are the same across both chains. I also think that this battle has grabbed some of the miners that used to mine this fork for profit. They went over to Bitcoin, especially if in 4 hours from now, I don't see any exchange accepting a block from either side for like days. So why on earth would a miner that's not, you know, a BCH maximalist, whether it's BCHA or BCHB, if you're not a BCH maximalist and you're simply a miner for profit, why on earth would you keep mining it, not knowing if you'll ever sell that block? So anyone that isn't a maximalist of the BCH chain, there's no economic incentive to make money at this point. They're all hopping over to Bitcoin.
Yeah. And you know, that's the game that's been created here, really. I guess the moral of the story, I got to jump off in a couple of minutes, but the moral of the story is make sure over the next week or month you don't use Bitcoin Cash as cash. As of today, please do not use your Bitcoin Cash as cash. Do not spend it. Do not move it. It will be stuck. You might end up losing it. So the moral of the story is everybody needs to not use their Bitcoin Cash as cash.
Yeah. Hey, last question for you before you go. It's really quick. Yes or no? If you know, Craig Wright and Calvin Ayers win this battle and they have a viable, usable coin within the next few weeks, are you scared that he's going to try to do something similar to Bitcoin in 2019?
Well, I guess this is, you know, I never say never in crypto, but this is one of the things with Bitcoin is that it's going to cost you a lot more. I think it's going to go well beyond Calvin and Craig Wright's wealth to actually do a similar thing for Bitcoin. But you know, I never say never in crypto. But this is one of the reasons why I believe that Bitcoin is the world's best shot at hard money, is because it's the hardest to attack and it's seen almost every attack. And if we need to see another 51% attack from the person that said they created Bitcoin, then I think that will be a new interesting challenge for us to see. But I think that you know, Bitcoin is a bit stronger, and we're seeing why so much hash power is needed in creating money that a government can't actually take down, even though they may want to take it down. So yeah, let's see that. But you know, I think Bitcoin Cash, if they do win, they may succeed at creating the fastest, cheapest money, because the more centralized it is, the faster it is to send and the cheaper it is to send.
Yeah, and I'll leave it there. Hey, Simon, thanks for jumping on.
All right, after my AMA, I might jump back on later. But I don't know what time are you going to stay up till in Australia?
Listen, as long as I can.
Which time zone is your head in?
As long as I can stay up, and as long as I have people watching, I'm currently at 2,200 live viewers.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. As long as people are watching, as long as I'm entertaining, we're good to go. All right, Simon. Thanks a lot for coming on. I'm going to get back to looking at charts until I'm joined by someone else.
Okay. Thanks, Tone. See you later.